Good morning, everyone. Got your coffee? I've got mine. I'll leave the link to these mugs down in the comments in case you want to buy yourself one. So listen, there are some people that I need to say thank you to very much. Cynthia, thank you so much, sister. And the same thing to Monique. Monique, thank you, sister. And to Lynette, thank you, sister. And to T. Taylor, always there. Thank you, sister. I want to say thank you to you ladies, especially because, it's the end of the month, first of the month time. And our library pantry, it tends to struggle right around this time of month. It gets those end of the month blues and, we have to get very, very creative, to make sure that we're keeping food in that library pantry for people. And so it helps. It helps more than you know. So thank you so much for that. I appreciate y'all. I really, really do. A little bit about what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about, there's a lot that I want to talk about today. Today is a peculiar day. It is because usually on Wednesdays I go to the central pantry, and this will be the first Wednesday that I won't be going. And if you follow me, you followed me for a little while, you know that I won't be going. You know why I won't be going back, but I have to say that I do feel a way about it because waking up this morning, because I wish, because this pantry is in a Black community and it serves mostly Black and some brown people too. It should be ran by Black people. It should just be run by Black people, but it's not. And because it's not, in this current climate, racism, racism is always going to, when white people come to the pantry and they decide that they want to be racist, and then the white people who are running things decide that they are not going to step outside of their comfort zone in order to protect their volunteers and their workers. And then people like myself and my husband, we stop showing up. It affects the community. It does. Because let me tell you, they don't have nearly as much help as they need. Not nearly as much help as they need. But I thought about it, and I've had a week to think about it, and I'm just not even for my community will I put up with racism. Not even for my community. And I'm not going to be in a space where I am not made to feel safe. That man should have been immediately asked to leave. And these racial incidents are really picking up all over the place. And speaking of which, do you guys know who Joe Tenney is? If you still have TikTok, go on over to TikTok and put his name in the search bar so that you can catch up on who Joe Tenney is. Joe Tenney and Sarah Elizabeth Tenney are two white people who fabricated a lie on a Black man, and they did this was recently. And I believe after going down this rabbit hole that they did this to get the attention of Donald Trump and other MAGA, so that they could elevate themselves within the whole MAGA organization. Well, anyway, they went to a restaurant in downtown Washington. So they say, I don't even know if that part's true. And as they were leaving out of the restaurant, they stopped and they said they started filming, and they accused a Black man who was walking down the street, y'all, minding his own Black ass business, of saying, I want to kill your wife and your baby. I want to murder your wife and baby. And they said that he said some white this and white that. I want to kill all the white people or something like that, to that effect. And turns out that this black man was completely innocent. Didn't even have so much as a criminal record. But guess who did have the criminal record? You got it. The MAGA man in the nice suit and pastor's collar, and the woman, the nicely dressed white woman, lying their asses off. And look, in the comments of that video, there were white people saying things like, I see a tree limb right there. And they were liking those comments. It kind of reminds you of Emmett Till. And they are going back to this. And I told you, and then just the last couple of experiences that I've had with racism. These people are just, they are unhinged. And they want us to react. And they want to involve us in their psychosis. Well, I won't be going back to the central pantry because I won't be allowing that. The second incident, I was minding my business coming out of a coffee shop. We do plan to go back to the coffee shop. You know, because it wasn't their fault. We plan on going back today because, as I told you, this is usually the day when I go to the central pantry. I have nothing else left to, I have nothing to do today. I was going to clean out my own library pantry today, but we've had a lot of wet weather here in Columbia, South Carolina. So I'm going to save that to Saturday. So I'm just off today with nothing to do. And it feels so weird. It feels so weird. I got to tell you, it does. You don't realize how much you actually do in a day until you don't have to do it. So I don't know what I'm going to do with my day, but I'll figure it out. But anyway, let me tell you what else I want to talk about over on TikTok. There's a young lady that went viral over there on TikTok. And she went viral for asking where the village is. And she's over there crashing out, slobbering, just a slobbering mess all over TikTok, screaming about how hard it is being a single mother and how she don't have no help and yada this, yada that. And where is the village? Where's the village? And as a Generation Xer, I like to just chime in a little bit on this conversation. Excuse me, this coffee extra good this morning. You know, here's the thing, young people. If you want the village, you're going to have to be a part of building the village. The village isn't this thing that's there only when you need it. The village isn't this thing whose resources you can take from whenever you're in need. The reason why y'all don't have villages is because y'all didn't build those villages. That's the reason why y'all don't have villages. When you look around and you say, where's the village? You didn't build the village. The village has to be built. And if you were someone who did your part, gave when you could, helped when you could, you would have a village. And not only that, but you have to be smart. You have to be smart. And you have to make sure that you are in community with like-minded people. That's how we build our village. She said she stayed at her grandparents. She was upset because her parents won't babysit her kids. The village, listen, the village isn't there just to hold your hand whenever you need it. The village is there with great advice too when you need it. And the village stay telling y'all to stop having kids you can't afford. The village stays telling y'all to stop fucking around with men that are no good for you. The village stays telling you to stay in school. The village stays telling you to go to college. The village stays telling you to leave them boys alone and focus on yourself. The village stays, but then when the village tells you stuff like that, because I got younger cousins that I try to give the benefit of my lessons to, but I was hating, or I was jealous, or I was bitter. Y'all love to call older black women bitter. That's y'all favorite thing. When we try to tell you young ladies and you young men about concentrating on yourselves and getting your own lives together first. Not to mention, grandparents are still out here working. It ain't like it used to be back in the day, where you could retire at 62, 65, 63, or when you got an ailment and you could no longer work. America is making it harder and harder and harder and harder for people to retire. It's people in their 70s going back to work because they can't cover their prescription medications because medications cost so much. They're working too. They're struggling too. They don't have time to babysit your kids. And that's not the function of the village. The village is not free daycare. Especially, listen, when you yourself wasn't helping other people who needed daycare assistance. Like your cousins, like your siblings, like your friends. You weren't keeping their kids. You weren't giving them time off. You can't expect the village to do for you what you didn't do for the village. And you can't expect the village to give to you what you didn't give the village. You know, every Friday over in the room, I remove stagnant members. And the reason why I do that is because the longer the room exists, there are people in that room who are really helping to build community. I mean, they are posting, they are sharing information about Black-owned businesses, they are offering advice, they are providing real tools. And then there's other people who show up to take advantage of that and think that that's all they have to do. No. Some people are doers and they're going to provide the resources. And then some people are just takers. And they're going to just show up and they're just going to take. And me personally, I'm not allowing that because we're trying to build community in that space. People who want to show up for other Black people. And showing up means showing up and doing the work. That's what it means. And listen, when you don't show up, I don't take that personally. I promise you, I do not take that personally. I don't. It's not personal for me. So don't you personalize it. It's not personal for me. I get it. People are busy. Maybe you busy building the village in your real life and you don't have time to do it in a virtual life. I feel that. I totally get that. Y'all raising kids, y'all working, y'all doing things. I get it. But this is still a community. It's still a community we're trying to build over there. And I want y'all to really sit and think about what I'm saying. You can't just show up like this. You got to show up with tools and resources. Even if you check in once a month, if I don't recognize your name, it's because you haven't been helping us build that community up. And if you don't have the time or the resources or the inclination to help us build that village up, then go build a village someplace else in your real life. And I wish you all the luck with that. I really do. But y'all, In real life, let's talk about real life, because that's where it really, really matters. In real life, you cannot expect to just show up with your hands out when you haven't done anything for your village. You haven't done anything to make the lives of other Black people easier. What have you done? And I'm not talking about showing up, going to work every day, doing the job that you got to do and that you paid to do. I'm talking about on your off time, in between time. What are you doing as a Black person to make the lives of other Black people easier? What are you doing? What are you really doing? If we are not doing the work, we should not be in a position to benefit from the work. That's just how I feel about it. And if more of us put in the work, more of us will be better, because I'm trying to tell you, we can move further together. This hyper individualism that America is adopting, it's not going to work for Black people. Not when white folks is going around lying on Black people. Not when they starting shit with us every opportunity that they get. Not when racism has now taken the front seat, the driver's seat again in this nation. It's not going to work for us. We need to be in this together. And if what you're going to do is drink the Kool-Aid and be hyper individualistic, then don't involve your community. Don't ask your community for anything. Don't show up wanting or needing anything when you're putting in zero work. Help other Black people. That's the village. The village isn't just take. The village is give and take. It's not just take. If you want that village, you got to show up for that village. And that's just the real of it. That is all that I have for today, y'all. If you would like to buy a cup, I will leave the link down in the comments. If you would like to help with the Library Pantry, or if you would like to support the platform or buy me a cup of coffee, I am going to the coffee shop today. I'll leave my Venmo and Cash App down in the comments. Y'all have a good day. Have a righteous day. Don't be nobody's problem today. And think about what I said. The village has to be built. It's not just something that just exists. You have to build it. And you have to participate in that. It's just like planting a seed. You have to plant a seed. You have to grow that plant. And you have to wait until there's fruit. But you got to put in the work. It's the truth. Feel your feelings.